Hey everyone, Stephen Clyde here. It is episode 45. I can't believe in 5 episodes it's going to be episode 50. So I'm going to try to get a special guest on for episode 50. But I have two announcements real quick. The first. Okay, I'm going to start over. Hey everybody, Stephen Clyde here from the Peace and Liberty podcast. It is episode 45. I can't believe in 5 episodes it's going to be episode 50. So I'm going to try to get a special guest on for episode 50. If not, I'll make it a really good one. For two announcements. My first is that I'm going to be on the Lions of Liberty podcast with Mark Claire this upcoming week. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to upload the episode when it comes out, obviously. And my second announcement is that I'm looking for a cameraman in Denver. Someone that can go out and do events with me. I want to get out there, so to speak. I love doing my podcast, but I love for some of my podcast episodes to be kind of out on the road. So looking for a cameraman. Just let me know if you're local in Denver. I just want to touch on two brief stories, and I guess I'll just preface by saying I go to a college with 42,000 students. You'll hear me say that a lot. And at least over half of them are leftists. So you're talking about at least 25,000 leftists walking around. And I take a presentational speaking class right now. And a lot of the kids in that class are very young. Some are, I think a few are actually still in high school. So I can't really fault them. I probably had some of the same erroneous views when I was 17 or 18. There was two presentations in general. This one girl gave a presentation the other day on homelessness. And she got up there and to be honest, she probably didn't put that much work into it. She needed to get the final presentation done. Well, she talked about homelessness in Denver, and she was putting out some crazy statistics saying that 50% of homeless people have college degrees. Now, if she pointed out a more relevant statistic, like maybe 50% of homeless people are veterans or something more believable. But 50% of homeless people are college graduates? That doesn't even make sense. And my first thought was, who are they considering homeless? If you are couch surfing, are you homeless? If you live in your grandmother's basement but hop around, are you homeless? How do they find you if you become not homeless? I mean, how do they keep track of you? So there's no way to actually know how many homeless people there are in Denver. So she went on with her presentation, and she's a really nice girl. I didn't want to upset her too much, but I asked her, because she pointed out the study that showed those statistics, and I was like, what was the methodology of that study, and how many homeless people are there in Denver? And her answer was, I don't know, and I don't know. So poor girl. I shouldn't have said anything else, but I kind of said at the end that there's no possible way you can calculate this because more people become homeless every day. Some people are lifted out of homelessness every day. Some people travel here to become homeless here. It's just the way it is. So that's one story. Another story is a girl presented the other day about how teachers aren't paid enough. And this one really aggravated me. I did not hold back in this one. So she goes off on her presentation, and the point of this final presentation is to get the audience involved. So you kind of do a little spiel and say what do you all think about that? Pretty fair. So she went on, and a kid in the class raised his hand and was just like, we need to, because the question was, how do we ensure teachers get paid more? And a kid raised his hand and said, well, we just need to ensure we get politicians in there that will raise taxes. Obviously, I died a little inside. That didn't feel too good to hear. But like I said, probably 18, 19 years old, very, very young, very, very ignorant. One thing I noticed about these kids, by the way, is they pat each other on the back. That's how they're able to espouse their views. They have no factual backing and get away with it because they have a neighbor next to them who's like, because they believe the same thing. But anyways, he made that comment. So I eventually raised my hand, and I was just like, I'll give you the footnote later, but did you know that for every $5 paid in taxes, only $1 of it gets to use because the other $4 get eaten up by bureaucrats who get paid along the way? And she didn't know what to say to that. She was just like, oh, I mean, that's an interesting way to think about it. Like, no kidding. So she goes on with her presentation, and let's try to collect my thoughts, and I'll edit this part out. So near the end, I pretty much pointed out to her, well, I asked her, you do realize this is a circular argument. that on one hand, you're arguing that not enough money is going to the people or the teachers. Let me start this sentence over. So what I started to point out near the end was that, rather I asked her, you do realize your argument's circular and that you're arguing that more tax money should go to fund teachers. They should be paid more. And my argument is that it would just be a government regulation to ensure that government it's all right. I'll figure it out. Let me say that again. So what I started to point out near the end was that her argument was circular. And that on one hand, she was saying we need to pay teachers more, but obviously public school teachers get paid through taxes. That's pretty obvious. So another thing they said was that we need more tax revenue. So I crushed those in 2 points. I was just like, look, your argument's circular. You're arguing that we need a government regulation to ensure that government employees get paid more. And you're also saying, God, why can't I get my thoughts together? All right. Yeah, so let me get my thoughts. So yeah, I need about like 5 more minutes. You can set your stuff down. I just need.
You got the camera rolling?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. I just need like 2 more minutes and I'll be done.
Put this stuff in.
Can you just go in my room for like 1 minute? Sorry, I need to be done.
All right.
It'd take 2 minutes. So my point kind of near the end was that, okay, hold on. You want government regulation to ensure that government employees or public school teachers are getting paid more. That's a circular argument. You want the government to do something for the government? That doesn't even make sense. And another thing I pointed out was that the underlying assumption that we don't have enough tax revenue is moot. That doesn't even make sense. Of course, the tax money is there. It's just going into the hands of the pocket or blah. So the underlying assumption that we don't have enough tax revenue is moot because they're well in excess. It's just lining the politicians' pockets. And she didn't really know what to say at the end. It was kind of a silly story, but that's just kind of some of the things I face in my college. So this is Stephen Clyde from the Peace and Liberty Podcast. I will see you next week. I got some great guests coming on. Like I said, I'm going to be in the Lions Liberty Podcast, so look out for that. See you guys.